Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So we are learning the chapter 12, which is data file handling, and the previous two sessions we have learned what is the meaning of data file handling, what are the different file mode parameters, different types of files and all those things. And also we had learned how to open a file in order to process. If I want to write something onto the file, if I want to read something from the file, how am I going to open? So we had seen two methods, that is using the open function as well as using the constructors. So today we are going to learn, once I open the file, how am I going to write or read into or out of the file. So today we will learn the various functions which helps us in order to do the same, right? So input output operations on text files. First let us see how do we do input and output operations on text files. Okay, so first thing is the put operation. Now this put operation is a member function, belongs to the class of stream. Always remember, like I told you before, that if at all you are putting something, that if at all you are writing something, it always belongs to off stream. That is, O stands for your output. So when I say put, it is nothing but you are writing something, so it belongs to the off stream and writes a single character to the associated stream. So here what we are doing, we are writing a single character, not the entire line, remember. So put helps us to always write a single character associated, that is into the stream. So what is the syntax for that? I have offstream object which I will create. I know that offstream is a class. I will create an object related to this class and I will call the put function, and you can see there is a parameter called as character. Now this is the character. Ch is nothing but a variable where I will store the data or a single character which I want to write into my stream. Okay, you can see the example here. I'm storing a in the variable named as ch, which is nothing but of type character. Then I'm creating an object f out. The name of the object is f out, and it is a object of the class of stream. And then I am calling the this is nothing but I'm opening the file. Okay, so offstream.fout.text.txt. So this is this text where I want to write this particular character. Then when I call the put function saying fout.put ch, this will write this particular character into my text file, that is text.txt. Okay, I hope this is clear. So this is the syntax. First you will save the variable, the value which you want to write, then you will open the text file. Okay, and then you will, using that object, we will put, you will call the put function and write that particular single character. So this is about put function. Now what about if I want to read it? So for reading we will use the get function. Okay, just similar to the put, but here we are reading. The get member function belongs to the class if stream. Okay, so this belongs to, since it is a reading, since it is inputting, this is if stream class, and the function get reads a single character. Again here also going to read a single character. So see the syntax here. I'm going to create an object and I will call the get uh, function, and I will read a particular character from that particular file. So I'm creating a object called as fin, where I'm opening a text.txt, and using a get, using this object fin of ifstream class, I am using the get function and reading a particular character from the text. So very simple students, you will be writing a character here, wherein which you will be reading a character. First you need to open the respective files in order to read and write, and you then you will write that particular character into the file and you will read the particular character into the file. So this is about if you want to read a single character. Now what happens if you want to read a string, if you want to read an entire line? So that is when the getLine function comes in picture. So what is this getLine function? It is used to read a whole line. Unlike get and put, we are not going to read a single character, but here we are going to read a whole line. It belongs to the class ifstream again. Okay, so since it is only reading, we are going to call, it belongs to the class ifstream. So what is the syntax? Again a character. Okay, sorry, the object I'm going to create of ifstream class, and then using the getLine function, I am passing two parameters now here. So what are these two parameters? One is called as buffer, another one is called as size. What is this two parameters now? Now this particular line, what does it does is it reads size character from the file. That is, for example, if it is size is 5, which means it will read the 5 character. Okay, whatever the file you are opening using the fin, from that file it will read the 5 character, or whatever the size you have given, though that size of the character it will read. And or till the line character is encounter, that is a new line character is encounter. That is, if there is a single line, always the single character line ends with a new line character, isn't it? Either whatever the size, for example, if the size is 5, either it will read the 5 characters, or suppose you have given a position here where I have only 1 2 3 4 characters, but by then my new line character is ending, or so in that case it will read only the 4 characters. So what is the condition here? The size, whatever is given, size, it reads the size characters from the file represented by the object fin, okay, fin, or till the new line character is encountered, whichever comes first into the buffer. So buffer is nothing but a memory where I'm going to store all the content which I'm reading. I hope this is clear. So example here is character book of size. Okay, so here I have an array where I'm storing the data. Fstream fin, fin is the function fin is the object I've created of fstream, and fin dot get line of book size. Now book size is again a buffer, an array which I have created, okay, where I'm going to store the entire content which I have read. Now before this there is also one more step, okay, like in the previous where we have seen fin, we have to, using the fin we have to open a text file, okay, and that text file we will be reading. From that text file we will read this number of size. That is, if the size is 10 characters, I will read the 10 characters from that particular file and store it in book. So the binary files are very much in use when we have to deal with the database consisting of records. So why do we use a binary files? Like I said before, that binary files are nothing but we have zeros and ones, isn't it? So why do we use them? Usually they are used in a database which has many different records. Now these records can be of different data types. It may be having heterogeneous types of data type, okay. So binary files help optimize the storage space, and file input output would be faster when compared to the text file, because we have different types of data type here. One can be number, one can be character, one can be in a different type data type. So that time if you're converting this entire thing into a binary, then it will be easier for us to perform the operations, okay. So the very first operations which we perform on binary file is write. So what does this do? The write member function belongs to the class of stream, again, since write is nothing but we are outputting something, and which is used to write binary data to a file. Okay, now syntax here it is little bit different compared to your put and get, though those were simpler. Here if you see, the syntax is of stream object, okay, the object what we create of that respective class, then I have a write function, then I have something called as variable which is of type pointer, I'm typecasting it here, and then I have size of the variable. Okay, so let us see in detail what does that mean. So the very first thing, when I say this particular function requires two arguments, okay, so one is this one, another one is the size of variable. So the first argument is the address of the variable, the contents of which are returned to the file. So like I said, so this is the variable which you want to write. Since it's a write function, this is the content which you want to write. Now we are accessing the address of this variable, as well as I'm typecasting it into a character irrespective of whatever data type. Okay, like I said before, binary files can have different types of data types. Okay, so whatever it is, I'm just converting into a character type, and I'm accessing the address of that particular variable, the contents of which are returned to the file, and the second argument is the size of the variable. I just not just the address of the variable, I also should know what is the size of the variable so that I can read only those much content, isn't it? Now the address of the variable is typecast into pointer to character type. It is because write function does not bother to know the type of the variable. Like I said, whatever may be the type of the variable, I'm going to typecast it into a character. Okay, so what does this entire function does? This entire function, the function writes the content of the variable to the file represented by the object. Once again, whatever the file you have opened using this object, okay, we are going to write the content into that particular file. And we have a write member function which has two variables. For the first two parameters, the first parameter is nothing but the address of the variable, and second parameter is the size of the variable, and we are going to write the content, this entire content, into the file which we have opened using the object. So see the example here. I have offstream. Okay, I'm creating an object and I'm opening a file std.dat. Okay, so this iOS binary, this we have seen the different parameters, different file mode parameters we have studied. So this iOS binary is nothing but we are opening a binary file for input and output. So here I'm opening a binary file using this line, and using the same object I am saying write character ampersand s. So here is the variable s whose content I want to write into this particular file, and this is the address of that variable, and this is the size of that variable, the which I want to write. Okay, so that is the meaning of write operation. Now similarly, if I want to read from a file, that is using a binary file, how am I going to do that? So see here, to the read member function, I'm going to use this syntax. That is, I'm going to create an ifstream object and a read function, and once again I have two parameters here. So ifstream object is an object of type ifstream. Okay, so this object, whatever we are creating, as the name suggests, it is created of the class, it is an object of the class ifstream. The function requires two arguments. The first argument is the address of the variable, the content of which are read from the file. Okay, so this is here, this is the content, this is the variable whose content we are reading from the file. Okay, and similarly, this is the size, what is the up till what we are supposed to read. Okay, so this is the size, we need to know the size so that I should know whether I should read a 5 character or a 10 character or 2 line or a 1 line. So I should know what is the size of the variable, right? The address of the variable is typecasted to pointer to character type. So here also again, irrespective of whatever the type the variable is, we are going to typecast it into a character type. Okay, it is because the read function does not bother to know the type of the variable, it requires the data in terms of only bytes. Okay, the function reads the record from the file represented by the object fin to the object, so which is nothing but, if at all, if you have a object created using the if stream before, whatever the file you have opened, we are going to use those same file in order to read. Okay, so we'll see an example, we'll understand. So see here, the example is I have student yes. Okay, so s is the this s is the variable which I am using. Okay, now if stream fin, I have created one object called as fin, and I have you open the file std.dat using the iOS binary parameter. Okay, so now this is nothing but I've opened a binary for file for input and output. Now using the same object, I am using the read function, which is nothing but I am using the same file in order to read from. And what am I reading? I am using this variable which we have declared. Okay, so this is the variable and this is the size of the variable, so that is the content I'll be reading from this particular file. So let's read a student record from the file std.dat into the object yes. So that is what we are going to do here. So this is all about read function of binary file. So we have seen that how are we going to read a file, write into a file. Now there is one more important fact, that how do I find whether my file has reached to the end, isn't it? So we have learned how to open a file, how to open a text file, how to open a binary file, how to perform read operation, write operation on both text file as well as the binary file. Now how am I going to find out whether the end of the file has reached? So the iOS class provides a member function called as EOF. Just like we have the different member function we have used for reading and writing, we have something called as EOF, nothing but end of the file. Okay, so this returns a true, okay, if the file end of the file is encountered while reading, otherwise the false. Okay, so this returns a boolean value If it is true means the end of file has reached. If it is 0 means end of file has not reached. So you need to incorporate these codes when you are writing a data file handling codes. So if fin dot end of file, if at all you have opened any file using the fin object, then that object dot end of the file certain statement. Okay, so if the end of file is true, the whatever statements you have written will be performed. If it is not true, then it will continue with the lines or the statements which is next to the if condition. Or else you can also use a while condition saying while not end of the file. If the end of the file has not reached, then what is your code supposed to do? So these are the two things you can use. So this is how you can incorporate an end of the file built-in function in your code in order to find whether the file has ended. Okay, so that's all in today's session, students. So today we have learned the various methods of writing and reading from the binary as well as the text file. Also, we have seen how to detect the end of the file. So I hope these video series are helping you in your studies. So keep learning. Thank you for watching.